Hello everyone, welcome to our 15th lecture. In this lecture, we'll see some facts about steady state stability and we'll see some examples on it, as this is our last topic of steady state stability or small signal stability. We know the steady state stability limit of a particular circuit of a power system defined as maximum power that can be transmitted to the receiving end without loss of a synchronism. That means the receiving end power we will consider. So m is we know equation, this equation already we have seen. M d2 del by dt square is equal to pi minus pe or pm minus pe. Pm is mechanical input, p is electrical output. M is given by in per unit h by pi f, and Pe is electrical output is Eg into Vt upon Xd into sine of del, okay, or E into V by X into sine of del, and this is our maximum, okay, this is our steady state stability limit, okay, if del is equal to 90 degree. Let the system be operating with steady state power transfer of P0 is equal to Pi. That means at steady state P0 is equal to Pi. That means electrical output is equal to mechanical input with torque angle 0. With torque angle 0. Assume small increment del P in the electrical power with the input from the prime mover remaining fixed at Pi, causing torque angle to change to del 0 to delta del. Okay, we'll considering small increment. We'll considering small increment in delta. We will consider small increment in del, and that's why it is delta del. Linearizing the operating point p0 comma del 0, we can write this equation: delta p by delta del is equal to delta pe upon del p upon del. So that's why delta p is equal to del p upon del into delta del. Okay, the excursions of delta del can then be described by, so this m is equal to this, that we have to take second derivative. M is equal to d2 delta del by dt square is equal to pi minus p0 plus delta p, because we have considered small change in delta, and that's why p is increasing, so delta p. So at initial stage, at zero state, at steady state, pi is equal to p0, okay. So that's why this equation 4 will become m d2 delta del upon dt square is equal to minus del pe, as these two are equal, okay. So it will be minus del pe, okay. Now m d2 delta del upon dt square is equal to delta pe upon delta del 0 delta del. So this we have written this delta p from equation number 3. This equation number 3 we have put in this in this equation, okay, in equation 4, okay. So now if we solve this, now we have put for this d by dt we have put p square, okay. Delta del we have taken out, so m p square plus delta p upon delta del is equal to this delta del we have taken out from both the constant, both the terms, okay. Here is delta del, here is also delta del, so we have taken out. We have written, we had for d by dt we have written p, okay, so it's p square. This is equation number 6. The system stability to small changes is determined from the characteristic equation, okay. This is our characteristic equation, okay. So the roots, where two roots, if we have to find out the roots of this characteristic equation, that will be plus minus delta p upon delta del at 0 upon m raised to power 1 by 2, or it is under root of minus del pe upon del at 0 degree, or at initial stage in steady state upon m, okay. Now this already we have seen, this is called as synchronizing power coefficient, delta p del p upon del partial derivative of p with respect to partial derivative with respect to delta del is positive. If this is positive, if synchronizing power equation delta p upon delta del is positive, the roots are purely imaginary and conjugate, and the system behavior is oscillatory about the del zero. Okay, line resistance and the damper winding of machine cause the system oscillation to decay. The system is therefore stable for small increment in power so long as delta PE upon delta del greater than 0. Okay, if this we have seen, just let me take pen tool. Okay, if the roots are purely imaginary and conjugate, then system behavior is that means it will increase and it will the system will be stable around its equilibrium point. If uh, this changes in the delta changes in the delta will die out, it will be nearly equal to 0, then system will become stable. System will become, this is del with respect to t, this is del with respect to t, it will increase and then it will die out. Okay, so that's why this should be positive. Okay, greater than 0. When delta p upon delta del is negative, the roots are real, one positive and other negative, but of equal magnitude. The torque angle therefore increases without bound of occurrence of small power increment, and synchronism soon lost. Synchronism is soon lost. Okay, in this, in delta versus t curve, what happens, this changes, instead of going down it will go, instead of going down it will go up, then system will become unstable. Here it is, if it is die out then it is stable. Okay, so in this case, when it will be unstable, when delta p upon delta del is less than 0, so this is called as synchronizing power coefficient. Okay, this already we have seen, still we are revising this, known as synchronizing power coefficient. This is also called as stiffness of synchronous machine. It is denoted by SP. This coefficient is given by SP delta P upon delta del. Del is equal to del 0. This we can write PE. P is P max into sine of del. P max is sine of del 0. Now add del equal to del 0. So it will be, here we can write, I will take another pen. This is P is equal to P max sine of del, P max sine of del. Okay, now if delta P upon delta del, so what it will be, so it will be P max, it will P max cos of del 0 at del equal to del 0, so it will be P max cos of del 0. This is our synchronizing power coefficient. This is our synchronizing power coefficient. If we include damping term in the same equation, then equation 5 becomes, this equation 5, where is 5, this equation 5th means here, where m is d2 delta del upon dt square is equal to delta p upon delta del is equal to 0. This 5 equation, if we include damping term, then we are included the damping term in the middle. Okay, so this equation will become, here we have included this damping term d. Okay, now this this that equation 5 will become this. Okay, now divide by m, then this we know, m is equal to h by pi f, so pi f on upper side, pi f on upper side. So this is our synchronizing power coefficient, this we have written as sp. Okay, now as we saw, now this we can read, this we can write in terms of tau and omega n. Okay, tau and omega n. Okay, so equation number, from equation number 9 we can see that omega n is equal to under root pi into f into sp upon h, where tau is equal to d by 2 into under root pi f upon h into sp. So damp frequency of oscillation omega d is equal to omega n under root 1 minus tau square. Time constant tau is equal to 1 upon tau omega n. If you put value of tau and omega n, then we'll get 2h by pi f d, damping term is included. Now we'll solve this example. Find the maximum steady state power capability of a system consisting of generator of equivalent reactance 0.4 connected to an infinite bus through a series reactance of 1 per unit. The terminal voltage of generator is held at 1.10, and the voltage of infinite bus at 1 per unit. Okay, so how to solve this problem? Find the maximum steady state power capability of a system consisting of the generator of equivalent reactance. Generator reactance is given zero point 0.4. Okay, connected to the infinite bus series reactance X is given 1 point. Okay, terminal voltage of generator is 1.1. Okay, infinite bus, so it is 1 per unit. Okay, find the maximum steady state power. Now we'll draw this. If we have, if we try to solve this, 0.41. Okay, so e at an angle of del is equal to Vt plus j xd into I. Okay, this is equal to, by simple Kirchhoff's law, is equal to this Vt plus I into xd. Okay, this is our first. Now I we can find out by Ohm's law. Vt minus this, Vt minus V upon x. Okay, using equation 1 and 2. If we use this equation 1 and 2, then putting the value of this I, putting the value of I in this, we have put value of I second in first equation. Vt we know given, we have put the value of I in this equation. This is our I. Okay, if we solve this, maximum steady power is reached when del equal to, we know when del is equal to 90 degree, we will get maximum steady state power. So at that point theta is equal to 74.9. If we put this, Vt is equal to 1.1 at an angle, this is our theta, 74.9, this is our theta. Now P max, this Eg we have calculated, 1 we know, xd we know, 1 we know, so it is 1.061, 1.061. Okay, now in this equation, why we have taken maximum steady state power capability is reached when del equal to 90 degree, that is real part of this equation is 0. So this equation 1.54 cos of theta minus 0.4 is equal to 0. So theta will get, okay, from this we'll get theta, this real part will be equal to 0 in Eg at an angle of del. In equation number 3 we have considered real part, this part. Already we have solved one example before this, still I am revising. Okay, it was little bit different, so that's why I am taking. Now this is example, this example I have not taken, that's why taking. A synchronous generator having reactance of 1.2 per unit connected to the infinite bus through a transmission system with reactance of 0.6, total reactance, with total reactance of 0.6. The generator is running on no load with voltage of 1.2. Take H equal to 4 megawatt second per MVA. The voltage of infinite bus is 1 and its frequency is 50 Hz. Calculate the frequency of natural oscillation if the machine is suddenly loaded to, loading is given, machine is loaded to 50% and 85%. Machine is loaded to 50% and 85%. Now we know PE is equal to P max sine of del 0. Okay, P is equal to P max sine of del 0. So sine of del 0 is equal to, sine of del 0 is P upon P max. Okay, this loading is given as 50%. This loading is given as 50%. So P will take as 50%, means 0.5. P will take as 50% as 0.5. Okay, so from that we got, from that we got del is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, now at 30 degree, at 30 degree means at 50% loading, at 50% loading we calculated we calculated this del P, the synchronizing power coefficient we have calculated, del P by del Z at 30 degree. Okay, into cos of 30, so it will be 0.577 megawatt per unit per electrical radians. Okay, M we can calculate H upon pi f. H is given second square per electrical radian. Now from characteristic equation, already we have seen characteristic equation, P is equal to plus minus J under root, this is under root del P upon del at angle 30 upon M. Okay, upon M. Now if you put values in this equation, then we will get plus minus J 4.76. Okay, either it is plus or it may be minus, imaginary roots. Okay, imaginary roots, conjugate. Okay, frequency of oscillation 4.76. Okay, now it is in radian per second, we have calculated in hertz. Okay, divided by 2 pi. Now for 85% loading, now this Pe is again P max sine of del 0. Okay, so this now P is 80% loading. 80% loading is given na, 80%, 85, sorry. So now we have calculated this for 80%. I will correct this. This should be. I will correct this. Here it should be 85. Instead of 85, it should be, because we have solved for 80. So it will be 80% loading. Okay, because we have solved for 80%. Okay, so 1.2 into 1 upon 1.8 cos of, now at, this is at del 0, we have calculated del 0 at 80% loading. Okay, at 80% loading we got del 0 as 53.1. Okay, 53.1. For that we got value of this synchronizing power coefficient is 0.4 megawatt. Now using characteristic equation, this del P upon del at 53 degree upon M. Okay, now if you put values, you will get J, will get J, let me check, let me take the pen tool, will get this J 3.96. Okay, now it is radian per second, we have converted into hertz, divided by 2 pi, we have divided by 2 pi. Okay, so this is our question. Okay, what, calculate the frequency of natural oscillation if the machine is suddenly loaded to 50% and second is 80% of its maximum power limit. Neglect the resistors and machine damping. Okay, these examples I have not taken, so that's why in the last lecture I have taken this example. Okay, this may come for 2 marks. Okay, for 50%, for 80%. Okay, either it will be for 50% or it may be for 80%. Okay, now some comments on steady state stability. We know a system can be operated about transient stability but not about steady state stability. Now with the increased fault clearing speed, it is possible to make transient stability limit closely approach the steady state limit. I told steady state stability limit is the ceiling of power system. Beyond ceiling we cannot go. So it is maximum, and transient stability limit is less than steady state stability limit. Now what are the methods of improving steady state stability limit? We know how we can find out the steady state stability limit. P max, we know P max is equal to E into V upon X. Okay, mod of E mod of V upon X. Okay, either to reduce X or to increase E into V. Reduce X or increase E and V. If the transmission lines are sufficient, uh, if the transmission lines are of sufficient high reactance, the stability limit can be raised by using two parallel lines. By using parallel lines, this X can be reduced, which incidentally also increases the reliability of the system, because if one fails, other can be used. Series capacitors are also sometimes employed in the line to get better voltage regulation and to raise the stability limit by decreasing the line reactance. Also we are using series capacitor sometimes for better voltage regulation. Higher in modern power system, we are using higher excitation voltages, and quick excitation system are also employed to improve the stability limit, because of that higher excitation system, we have seen effect of SCR in last lecture. Okay, so if excitation, if we are using high speed excitation, then saturation, then that field current can be changed, so steady state stability limit can be improved. Okay, this is all about our steady state stability limit. From next lecture we'll switch over to the transient stability. Thank you.